Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 8, text 3. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visargaha Karma Samgnitaha. So now Krishna started to answer Arjuna's 8 questions asked in the previous 2 verses. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, said, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. What is Brahma? That is Aksharam, indestructible, transcendental. The indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. Swabhavaha Adhyatma Muchyate. And his Swabhava is called Adhyatmam. So Arjuna's questions were, Brahma, what is Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma, Adibhutam, Adidaivam, Adiyagnaha, and where does Adhiyagna live? And then Prayana Kale, Katham Gneyosi. These are the 8 questions. So Krishna is answering Brahman. What is Brahma? That is the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahma. And his Swabhava, his nature, eternal constitutional nature of that living entity is called Adhyatma. And Krishna is also answering karma in this shloka. What is karma? Bhuta bhavodbhavakaro visargaha karma samgnitaha. Karma samgnitaha. That is said to be karma by which bhuta bhava udbhavakaraha visargaha. Prabhupada nicely translates action pertaining to the development of the material bodies. That means any action we do which produces or which is preparing our next body. Because every action we do, there is a reaction. And that reaction will contribute towards our next body. So action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities. So you see 3 questions Krishna has given answers in this shloka. So Brahma is the living entity, but then there is Parabrahma, which is Krishna. So there has to be difference. Even though we are part and parcel of Krishna, in that sense we are one with Krishna, but Krishna is different from us in terms of the magnitude, the quantity, the potencies. We can manufacture a Boeing aeroplane, but Krishna can manufacture huge planets and universes floating, coming out from the pores of Mahavishnu. So that is Parabrahma. And we are small Brahma, spiritual. And what is our Swabhava? Swabhava, Adhyatmam. Our constitutional Swabhava, constitutional position is to be servant of Krishna. We take different positions in this material world because of our bodies. Because I am born in a particular country, I belong to that country. In a particular family, I am the father, or I am the brother, I am the sister. I am the enemy of this particular varga because they belong to a different community or caste, or traditionally they are opposed to my group, whatever, family, country. These are all different positions we take based on our body. But as spirit soul, we are servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishnera Nityadas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given that definition. The Swarupa of the Jiva is eternally servant of Krishna. So we have lost that eternal relationship with Krishna and we have got to revive it. And the sadhana bhakti is the process to revive it. Sadhana bhakti means engaging the mind and senses in serving Krishna. Just like a mother, she is training, she is teaching the child to walk, and she is confident that the child will walk sometime, someday, because it's been done all over the world from time immemorial. So the process is definite. And if you go through the process, just like the baby, for sure he will walk because he is surrendered to the mother. The mother is helping him. And it's just a matter of time. So, similarly, by following this sadhana bhakti process under the shelter of the spiritual master, we will definitely start to develop that forgotten relationship. Our inner potential of serving Krishna comes out naturally. So, our acharyas have given us very nice formula for sadhana bhakti, very easy formula, which is primarily by engaging our tongue. सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदः. Sevonmukhe means favorably rendering service starting with jihva, our tongue. How? By two things, which is by doing which we like to do with our tongue, which is eating and talking. Like if you have observed, we chant this prasadam prayers before we eat in the temple. So this is what it means is what it is saying is that this tongue is the most voracious and the difficult of the senses to control. So it must be engaged first. And then talking has to be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So the eating of Bhagavad Prasadam, honoring of Prasadam and chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Prabhupada was very, very insistent to distribute prasadam to devotees. Good prasadam. One devotee was recounting an incident in 70s when Prabhupada was in one temple. He was observing that the prasadam quality was not good. And he got very upset. And he called the leaders to his room. And for 1 hour, he preached to them the importance of preparing nice, quality, opulent prasadam. And then it seems he said, I mean, it's not verbatim, but paraphrasing. Prabhupada basically told them, do you think people are coming to this temple to hear only philosophy? And even if they hear the philosophy, do you think they all understand the philosophy? No, they'll come and they will go and they may forget or may be discouraged. You must attract them with kirtana and prasadam. Of course, this is not material luring, or one may think like that also, but this is transcendental program given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada pointed that out. This is Lord Chaitanya's program, not my program. I have not invented this. Don't disrupt what I have created or what I have followed from the parampara. And so he said, from tomorrow on, I want this and this and this with quality to be prepared and to give to the guests. He said, I'll give the money. Don't worry about it. If you serve Krishna nicely, Krishna will send Lakshmi. Because Lakshmi is owned by Krishna. So practically, our progress is based on these two things. Honoring prasadam. If we take a vow that I will honor only prasadam from today, tremendous progress we will make. Because tongue is very difficult to control. By giving it prasadam, tongue becomes controlled. And of course, sticking to the vow of chanting Hare Krishna mantra. I met one family last weekend. So I was talking to them about the importance of chanting Hare Krishna because they are doing other things. And I said, you should chant Hare Krishna instead of doing other rituals because this is the Yuga Dharma for this age. And the Mataji said, oh, actually, I took a vow to chant one mala some time ago, but I've not been able to keep up that vow. So, this is very important because our mind is very difficult to control and direct. If we don't take care of our vows, life will come and just take us for a ride. And after a few years, we'll realize, oh my God, what have I done? Significant. Life has gone just like that. So it's very important to keep our vows, at least chanting Hare Krishna, the number of rounds that we have taken the vow, very important. One Mataji was saying, when she got initiated in 70s, she went to Prabhupada to recite these vows and she started to say this, when you get initiated, you have to recite these vows like four regulative principles. I'll follow this and this and this and this. And I'll chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra every day. So she said all of that and she said, I'll chant the Hare Krishna mantra, 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. And then Prabhupada stopped her and then she got a little anxious. And Prabhupada said, 16 rounds minimum. So 16 rounds actually is the minimum because there is no limit. The more you chant, the more you progress in devotional service. You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you see, wherever he went, he did not talk about elevated philosophy to the masses. He did not. He stuck to basics and he stuck to teaching them how to chant Hare Krishna, preaching to them about the glory of the holy name of Krishna, chanting the holy name of Krishna, wherever he went. And he would perform wonderful kirtan and dance in ecstasy. And people get inspired by that and they start to take up chanting the holy name. So, chanting the holy name, the importance cannot be stressed enough. It is not different from Krishna. It is Krishna Prema directly manifested in the holy name. So one should take it very seriously, cherish it, every single mantra that we chant. Anyway, we have to spend that time. Why not chant quality with quality? Our mind will come up and say, oh, there are many other things that can give me happiness. But we should understand that it is all illusory happiness. It is all posing as happiness with a veil, with a screen, promising to be happiness, but it doesn't deliver. Should have that conviction. Only Hare Krishna mantra delivers. That is the real happiness. So, philosophy and realization will come eventually. Even Prabhupada and Acharyas knew that the masses cannot understand. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, My Guru More Murkha Dekhi Karilo Shashan. My Guru Maharaj saw me great fool and ordered me, you just chant the holy name. So one devotee was saying, when he joined, particularly he joined because of the impression, because of the fondness of the feast that he was having when he went to the temple on Sundays. Particularly, Prabhupada ordered at the time, and he was giving when he was there physically. He would prepare and he would order his disciples to prepare so many items. And one disciple was recounting recently, I was hearing one memory. And they were mentioning so many different rice, so many different sabjis, puri or fried items and sweets and drinkable like nectars and those kind of things. He kept on going for like 3 4 minutes because Prabhupada felt the Westerners, they needed to be given the higher taste. So this devotee said when he went to the temple, he didn't understand the class, he didn't understand the philosophy. It was way above his head, and the kirtan was all. I mean, people were jumping, and it was for him. He felt a little noisy. But then, as soon as that Sunday feast plate was placed in front of him, he perfectly understood what was all this about. You know, he was describing all these items on the plate, and he felt rejuvenated. And the devotees encouraged him to come every Sunday. And then they kept on giving more prasadam. So in that way, 3 months, 3 or 4 months, he was simply coming to temple to take prasadam. And he said in those 3 months, he was addicted to drugs earlier. So he stopped taking drugs. He stopped eating meat and all the other kinds of nonsense things that he was doing. And then he said one day that he was going home from temple. He was traveling on a double decker bus. So this double decker means there is a top deck and bottom deck, and he was sitting on the top deck, and no one else was there. And then he said something very mysterious happened, and he was just chanting this Hare Krishna mantra non-stop, and he could not stop chanting. He chanted all evening, and he was chanting during his sleep. And then the next morning, he went to the temple and asked to see the president. And he told him he had a problem. What is that? And he keeps on chanting Hare Krishna mantra. He cannot stop. So the president laughed at him and said, You know, do you know what you have been eating the last 3 months? And he said, Oh, just good food. He didn't know it is prasadam and the miraculous nature of the prasadam and all that. And then the president said, this prasadam means Krishna. It is none different from Krishna. You've eaten so much prasadam that your tongue has now become purified. And now Krishna is dancing on your tongue. And you're chanting Hare Krishna. So, a very similar thing has happened with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. He was chanting and he became so ecstatic and he could not control himself and he kept on chanting. And then he thought he became mad or something. And then he went to his guru, Ishwarapuri, and he said, Kiba mantra dile Goshani, Kiba tara bala. So, how much, what mantra you given, oh dear Goswami? What kind of potency it has? It's made, when I chant, it's making me more ecstatic and mad. And then the Guru Maharaj, Ishwarapuri said, "Yeah, you have attained the perfection of chanting. This is the result of chanting. This is what one makes. This is what one becomes. Become mad in love for Krishna. So, this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that it awakens our swabhava. Jivera swarupa hai, Krishnera nityadas. So that is swabhava. So Brahman is Atma, swabhava is our nature, our constitutional nature, and karma is that activity which is causing us to take different bodies in this material world. Bhuta bhavod karo visargaha karma samgnitaha. ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कोन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाई bhakti lata bij. So it is said that because of our karma we take different bodies and we are wandering throughout this universe in different species of life in different planets according to karmana daiva netrena. All our actions are being watched, everything is being supervised, watched and judged. There was one friend of mine who, after his college, he went some time to work in Japan. And then he would, when he would come for holidays, he would tell us some interesting things. So one time he put a garbage bag in a wrong bin. There were so many different bins apparently that you have to. Even here we have. Who will see? He just dumped it and left. And it seems by the time he came back in the evening, that same garbage bag was in front of his door with a note, you need to put it in the right bin. And then he was shocked. That means there is supervision, there is tracking. They can figure out everything. They have a system like that. So advanced. So in the material world, it can be so advanced. There is supervision everywhere. What to speak of this cosmic government? Like we drive cars and suddenly one bill comes to the home, to our house. Hey, you need to pay this fine because you did not pay the toll. Because the toll reader is noting down your cars and who is having that pass and who doesn't have and all of that. So likewise, we are always being watched and evaluated. Bhagavatam confirms that how many witnesses are there for our activities. सूर्योऽग्निः खं मरुद्देवः सोमः सन्ध्याः नीदिशः कं कुः स्वयं धर्म इति ह्येते दैह्यस्य साक्षिणः. So it lists different witnesses, 13 witnesses. The sun, the fire, the sky, air, Deva, the demigods, moon, even the evening, daytime, nighttime, disha, directions, water, land, and Paramatma himself in the heart. They are all witnessing the activities of the living entity. Like sometimes these other religious sects, they don't believe in the karma. They don't agree with karma. Some of these other religions. So Prabhupada was mentioning he once had a discussion with a Christian professor who argued that although people are generally punished after the witness of their misdeeds are examined, where are the witnesses responsible for one's suffering? The reactions of past karma. Where are those witnesses? So that means they think that there are no witness to our suffering. I mean, witnesses responsible who watch our past karma or past activities. So a conditioned soul, he thinks that he is working stealthily and no one can see his activities. But Shastra confirms that every activity is there. The witness exists. The Supreme Lord witness and the Supreme Lord both exist, and they are evaluated. Karmana daiva netrena. So by bhakti, this karma also can be eradicated. Krishna confirms that when you surrender to me, sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. If you surrender to Krishna through his representative, spiritual master, particularly when you come to that point of initiation, that means you are surrendering to the spiritual master and abide by his instructions. Krishna removes all our past sinful reactions. And even whatever is happening in our life at that point, it is, one should understand, it's not because of my karma, it is because of Krishna controlling my life for my purification. Of course, this is assuming that one is sincere. One is sincerely, heartfully, seriously serving Krishna with all earnestness. For such a devotee, Krishna completely removes that. Karmani nirdahati cha kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments?